figure out the first step. All right, you got a quadratic. You have to factor it. You have to give me two binomials. This is factoring by grouping. You're not allowed to use Snowflake, or if a friend of yours teaches it to you, you will not get credit on a test or a quiz because you're not learning grouping by mathematics. You're kind of just learning this little graphic organizer little shortcut, and it's not allowed, okay? Okay, so look, you have to know a quadratic in standard form. A, B, C. That's it. All right, you're still gonna do your magic X. However, because the A value is not 1, you have to take that into consideration to your C value. All right, so look. First of all, you look to see, are these numbers divisible by 2? And so no, 25 is not divisible by 2, 72 is not divisible by 2. You definitely want to look to see if you can take out a greater common factor, because it does make the problem easier for you, so that step is actually towards your benefit. Okay, so your first step is you want to look for your GCF. And in this case, it doesn't exist, right? Because 25 is not divisible by 2. We're talking integers, okay? Clean division. 72 is, it's 36, but once you get a no, you pass it, okay? All right, the second step is what you guys normally remember. You build your A times C, and your B value still goes to the bottom. So you're still going to perform your magic X. It's just top value is no longer C, like what we did here, where we just took 8 here. You're really going A times C, but what's 1 times 8? 8. So we haven't really changed the steps. It's just we don't teach you guys that A times C on the easy ones, because what's the point? Okay. All right, so here, 2 times 72, and so your numbers do get larger. So 25 is positive, and 2 times 72 is what? 144, positive? Yeah? You guys seem kind of asleep today. I hope tomorrow you're more awake because you got a quiz, and you guys can't call me over and say, is this right? I go, I don't know. I grade it. Okay, so you got 144, you got 25. You need to come up with two numbers that multiply to 144 and give you 25. Okay, normally 144, you're all usually really good at 12 and 12, right? You guys all know 12 times 12 gives you 144. You got it, but 12 and 12 doesn't give me 25. Okay, now look at the signs. 144 is positive. The only way you get a product that's positive is either they're both negative or they're both positive. But seeing that 25 is positive, both of these numbers are going to be positive, and you're going to add. So the two numbers that you're looking for, you're looking to have them add to 25. Okay, so this is where you guys can kind of find out what works for you. But if you want to be super extra, you can go, okay, what's 144 divided by 1? 1 and 44 give me a pair. What's 144 divided by 2? Some of you start playing with the calculator. Ooh, not that. Divided. 3 and 48. This is in my way. I'll put it later. 144 divided by 4. If you start from the bottom, you can slowly build all your pairs. Now, I'm going to get a fraction here. Whoops. That means it's not divisible by 5. So then that's not a pair. 144 divided by 6, 6 and 24. 144 divided by 7, nope, fraction. 144 divided by 8, 8 and 18. Right? That's 26. I'm getting closer. Divided by 7. Oh, I already did 8. Whoops. 144 divided by 9. 9 and 16. And there's your winner. That gives you 25. So you can try and play with the calculator, but when you guys are quizzing, you cannot call me over. I'm not going to give you the numbers. And even if you call me over and you're like, I can't figure out the numbers, grab the calculator and start dividing by 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. And if you're too lazy to do that, then you don't get the problem. Simple as that. You gotta just divide. Now, some of you might be able to play with it and just, some of you are like, Oh, try 8. Oh, try 9. Then fine. How you come up with this is up to you as far as you using your table of values, right? I mean, I know it doesn't go up that high, but we have 9 and 16. There's 9. Do I have 16? There's 16. There's my 144. So you would have found it off the chart if you would have looked for 144. Okay. So you can use the chart. You can use the calculator to slowly just keep dividing and dividing and dividing and find your pairs that way. But it's your numbers. You got to know your numbers, okay? All right, so it's 9 and 16, and it doesn't matter which one goes where. Okay. Okay, so this kind of took up a lot of space. It's kind of ugly. All right, once you come up with this pair, what happens now is, notice this quadratic is 3 terms, right? 1, 2, 3. You're going to make those 3 terms become 4 terms so that you get to split. Okay, the first and the last term don't change. Okay, so here's what I mean, and I'm going to have to put it on this sheet because I'm running out of paper. All right, I'm going to take 2k squared. The 72, you leave it alone. So 2k squared, 2k squared, 72, 72. Do not mess with these, ever. Bring them down. Your 3 terms, 1, 2, 3, are going to be written as 4 terms because you want to split and GCF. So that's why you need 4. You can't split 3, you can split 4. What goes in place of here is, instead of this 25k term, you're putting these 2 in. Because what's 9k plus 16k? 25k. So you're just splitting it into 2 smaller terms. Now, it doesn't matter which one goes first. Whether you put the 9 here or the 16 first, it doesn't matter. Okay, 16k plus 9k. So I replace the b term with these 2 values. This is the part where students get stuck. They can do this, but then after they don't know what to do. This is replacing the 25. Okay, now that you have 4 terms, you're now going to split those 4 terms into 2 terms, 2 terms, and then you're going to GCF, GCF. And this is factoring by grouping. Do you guys kind of remember this? A little? Yeah, I mean, it's been like a year for you guys. All right, so here's my split. You split it, and I'm going to GCF this side, and I'm going to GCF this side. Usually when students can get to this, you can pick it up. It's usually this jump that students stop, but then once they can make that leap, you guys can finish it off. Okay, GCF. So you're only looking at these 2 terms, so you're not looking at those, so cover that up. You have 2k squared plus 16k. What number is divisible into 2 and 16? 2, right? Yeah? Okay, so I can take out a 2. All right, you got 2 k's, you got 1 k. How many k's can I remove? 1. And by the way, this one you're always going to remove 1 variable. This one you won't remove any variables. After a while, there are patterns that you guys will pick up. Okay, that's what I'm pulling out. So in the binomial, you have to put what didn't come out. Or you could divide. What's 2 divided by 2? 1, right? So you can write the 1, or you don't have to. It's up to you. If it's k, it's really k to the 1, right? You guys understand you only pulled 1 out. If there's 2 and you took 1 out, how many is left? 1, right? Because 2 minus 1 is 1. So you're left with just a k here. So that's your first term. You now have to take into consideration that term, the second one. Okay, what's 16 divided by 2? 8. And so now, this had 1k. You factored out the k, and so what's 1 take away 1? 0. Okay, this is your binomial. This is your GCF factored, and it's correct. Because look, What's 2 times 1? 2. What's k times k? K squared. What's 2 times 8? 16. What's k to the 1? No k, k to the 1. So you can always check by distributing and see if you check and you get the same original 2 terms. Okay, what you do here, you're going to repeat here. However, if you guys buy into like it has to be the same, this binomial term, if you GCF'd correctly, this is going to be the same on this side. It always has to be the same. Always, always, always. If it's ever different, there's a mistake with a negative or you forgot to take out a variable. Okay? All right, so we'll do this, but you should see that this is a 1k plus 8 here. It should be there always. Okay, so let's do it and let's double check. What is divisible by 9 and 72? So what's 72? Is 72 divisible by 9? Yeah, you get 8. So notice I can pull out a positive 9 here. So what's 9 divided by 9? 1. What's 72 divided by 9? 8. You do not remove any variables here. Because see how this has a variable? This does not have a variable. You cannot factor out what it doesn't have. Okay, so these perfectly match. They always should match. Okay, so now the grouping. Your 2 matching, and we'll put whatever we want right here. These 2 are going to form one binomial. Here, I know it's just by colors, but hold on. The GCF part that you pulled out, they're going to form the other binomial, and that is factored form. Okay, so this 2k and this 9, those are the GCFs that we pulled out, right, from the 2 binomials. They're going to form one binomial, which is 2k plus 9. Because what does this term and this term have in common? The yellow k plus 8. So you're essentially GCFing or like, here, let me just write this. I'm going to mess it up. You're factored by grouping again. And so that is your end. It's not as bad. Yes, it's long. It's not as bad as it seems. You guys can go the A times C. You might struggle sometimes on finding the numbers, give or take. Once you get the numbers, the only thing you guys really have to make sure is that you replace that B term with those 2 numbers that you got. They become 2 separate terms. And then you split GCF, and normally you guys can finish here. It's this leap. Yeah. It's been a while since you guys have done it, so, you know, like 8 months or something like that. Okay, I have to pause this, but it's gonna go. Are you guys fine? Yeah. All right, let me stop it.